Hi guys, this is gsno.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the freshly unveiled Xiaomi 11T Pro. Notice the lack here of the Mi particle. That's the current branding from Xiaomi, straight to the numbers. So this is supposed to be the fall flagship from the company and the first mainstream phone with 120 watt charging. They had that before on the Mi 10 Ultra, but it was more experimental than mainstream, and here we are with a handset which costs around $700 right now. It has a Snapdragon 888 processor, a big battery, and once again very fast charging, plus 108 megapixel camera at the backside integrated in a triple camera setup and an AMOLED screen with a high refresh rate. The focus of the phone is the cinematic experience, or as Xiaomi calls it, Cinemagic, and it has something to do with the Dolby Vision enabled screen. Yes, you heard it correctly. This screen has Dolby Vision and also a cinematic featured camera. Okay, so it's just fired up and let's see what's inside the box. First of all, this envelope here includes the key used to access the slots. Then we have a bunch of manuals, and when I say manuals, I actually mean the quick start guide, the warranty card, and last but not least, the safety information. And then we have the case, which is actually useful because the handset is a little bit slippery and prone to smudges at the backside. This is what we're dealing with. It's a mirror finish, so you should better take care of it. It's also got curved edges on the back, so it should sit pretty nicely in your hand. Okay, we go further with the unboxing, and this is the star of the show. This huge charger, which would make even a laptop charger blush, has 120 watts written on it, and it promises to juice up the phone in 17 minutes from 0 to 100, a bold statement. It has an USB-A connector and it's quite heavy. It hooks up to this cable which goes from USB-C to USB-A, and it's thicker than usual to allow such strong current to pass through it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Everything available inside the box. This is the Xiaomi 11T Pro, and as you can see here, aside from the 108 megapixel, there's a Harman Kardon logo because the dual speakers have been tuned by Harman again. Bottom speaker here, and we have a top speaker here separated from the earpiece. We see these holes here. This approach has been taken on the Mi 11 series and also on the Mi 10 series last year. And well, you can also see here an infrared emitter, something that I think only Xiaomi is offering nowadays, or they're one of the few companies doing that right now. So this is the phone. I would say it's a familiar format with medium sized bezels, medium thickness, not the slimmest but also not the thickest in the world. If you want to talk about the device further, you have to know its measurements. So it's a rather beefy 8.8 millimeters in thickness, which probably jumps to 10 millimeters with the camera protrusion. It weighs a healthy 204 grams, but honestly it feels much lighter than that. And it's got a mirror finish, rounded back, and it draws quite a few fingerprints. I should probably also mention that it's got IP53 certification, so it can take some dust specks and splash protection. Now, we're dealing here with Gorilla Glass Victus at the front, which is a pretty big win in my book. Victus is usually reserved to flagships. This one isn't far for a flagship, if I'm being honest, specs-wise. And it has a glass back and an aluminum frame, even though I feel that it meets the glass in a way which wouldn't have you guessing that we still get aluminum here. Now the panel you're seeing right now is a 6.67 inch AMOLED Full HD+, displays 1 billion colors, has Dolby Vision, 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR10+, and promises a huge 1200 nits of brightness. There are multiple tweaks for the screen which you can see here. You can schedule a dark mode, there's the anti-flicker mode, and the refresh rate is set from the factory to 60 Hz. If you want it higher, you can tweak it to 120 Hz. Let's turn down the brightness a little bit, so there will be no problems with my camera. Okay, so now that we're done with the screen, we should probably go inside the phone where we can discover more about its CPU, which we are actually familiar with. Qualcomm Snapdragon 888, 5nm, and you've seen it on quite a few flagships this year. Octa-core chip, actually inaugurated by Xiaomi, the Mi 11, in December last year. It makes a nice pairing here with a quantity of 8 gigs of RAM, as well as 256 GB of storage. There's also a version of this phone which has 12 gigs of RAM and 120 GB of storage. It's UFS 3.1 if anyone's asking. There is no micro SD card slot here. Also, no audio jack inside. And if you want to have a look all around the phone, aside from the speaker here, there's an USB-C port, microphone and the SIM tray. At the top side, we already talked about the infrared emitter and the speaker. On the left side, absolutely nothing. And on the right side, you can see the volume buttons and the power button, which actually integrates a fingerprint scanner. So if I use this finger, nothing happens. If I use this one, it unlocks the device in a pretty snappy and fast manner. Okay, aside from that, you can also discuss the battery, 5000 mAh unit, which charges at 120 watts, which means 72% achieved in 10 minutes. Full charge in 17 minutes, I will definitely put that to the test. And well, on the connectivity front, it's obviously a dual SIM phone, and this dual SIM phone provides you with Wi-Fi 6, 5G, Bluetooth 5.2. There is GPS dual band available here as well, and there's also NFC for payments, USB-C 2.0, infrared, and aside from that, we also have the cameras. I'm going to start with the front one because you can see it cut in a punch hole here. This one is a 16 megapixel selfie shooter, while the back side things get a bit more complicated, but not in an exaggerated manner. So 108 megapixel, the main camera. Then we have it with face detection autofocus. Then there is the 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and finally 5 megapixel tele macro camera, which has a 50mm focal length and also autofocus, so that's nice. Dual LED dual tone flash here, an extra sensor on this side here, and 8K filming at 30 frames per second. Now, if you want to talk about the camera modes, we can definitely do that. Go here, we have an AI feature which detects the scenario, and we have a variety of extra options, some of which should be downloaded. The movie effects we already saw on the Mi 11 series, they're quite beloved by the public, including this parallel world, which is inspired by the movie Inception. And aside from that, you can take photos of documents, you can take dual videos, panorama, long exposure, vlog, so that's how the whole cinemagic thing comes into play. This is the video department, and it confirms you can shoot in 8K video, and for the photo section you can go here and check out options like super macro and tilt shift, and you also have the pro section which gives you raw capture and also full 108 megapixel shots and several other tweaks and filters. That's it in a nutshell. Didn't forget about the software, so let's check it out. So this is Android 11 with MIUI 12.5.4 applied on top of it, and it comes with all the usual bells and whistles like the split area for the quick settings and the notifications, also those super wallpapers which people seem to love so much about Xiaomi. They're available here and you have to download some of them. They truly look majestic, and I think that more have been added, and basically you'll be able to swipe your way through them as you go from one home screen to the other, and you can zoom in onto a planet like the red planet or Earth or other things like that. And that's pretty much it. We also have always on display, we have a dark mode and a gaming feature, and well, this is pretty much it. If you want more details, the main sensor you have here, the 108 megapixel one, is ISOCELL HM2 from Samsung, and it combines 9 pixels into one. I look forward to actually testing the charging, that's the core point for me, and I'll be back with a full review sooner than we expect for the Xiaomi 11T Pro, the fastest charging phone on the market right now. That's it from us, bye bye.